Anxiety often arrives quietly, like a shadow appearing beside us before we even notice. It may begin with a small thought, a worry about tomorrow, a memory from the past, or a feeling that something might go wrong. Soon, the heart beats faster, the breath shortens, and the mind starts to search for something to hold on to. We call it anxiety, but it is, in truth, a part of being human. No one can live without moments of uncertainty. The mind wants safety, but the world around us is always changing. Even the seasons, which seem to follow the same rhythm, never repeat themselves in exactly the same way. So it is natural that we feel uneasy when we do not know what will happen next. When anxiety comes, many of us try to fight it. We try to reason with it, to control it, or to escape from it. But the more we struggle, the stronger it seems to grow. Like a hand trying to grasp water, our efforts only make it slip away faster. Perhaps the first step is to simply notice it, to say softly to ourselves, "Ah, here it is again," not as an enemy, but as a visitor. Anxiety is not a mistake in our minds. It is a signal, a reminder that we are alive, sensitive, and aware. When we begin to see it in this way, something inside us starts to loosen. Beneath every wave of anxiety, there is often a deeper current of fear. Sometimes it is clear: fear of losing someone, fear of failure, fear of being judged. But more often, it hides quietly beneath the surface, like roots under the ground. We feel its pull, yet we cannot always see where it begins. Fear grows in the space between what is and what might be. The mind imagines many possibilities, creating pictures of danger or loss. It tries to prepare us, to keep us safe, but this effort can also keep us trapped. We begin to live in the future, not in the moment that is right here. The heart tightens, and we forget that most of what we fear has not even happened. Sometimes fear begins long ago. A harsh word, a painful memory, an experience of being helpless. These moments leave traces inside us. Even when we forget them, they remain, shaping how we react to the world. When a new worry appears, it touches those old places, and suddenly our reaction feels stronger than the situation itself. If we can pause for a moment and look beneath our anxiety, we may sense this hidden fear. Not to judge it, not to remove it, but to see it clearly. Every fear is trying to protect something we care about: safety, love, belonging, life itself. When we understand that, fear begins to lose its sharpness. It no longer feels like an enemy waiting in the dark, but like a small voice saying, "Please, take care." When worry begins to rise, the body speaks first. The chest becomes tight, the stomach feels uneasy, the shoulders grow heavy. Sometimes we feel restless, unable to sit still. Other times, we become tired, as if the body is quietly asking for rest. Each small signal is the body's way of saying, "Something inside needs your attention." The body remembers what the mind tries to forget. Every tension, every sudden breath, every sleepless night. These are traces of how we have met fear before. Even when our thoughts seem calm, the body may still carry the echo of old worries. It is like a bell that continues to ring long after it has been struck. Many people try to escape worry only through thinking. They tell themselves to stop worrying, to stay positive. But the body does not listen to words alone. It listens to warmth, to quiet, to the rhythm of the breath. When we notice how our body feels, without judgment, without trying to fix it, something inside begins to soften. The heart slows down, the breath deepens, and the storm loses a little of its strength. Our body is not against us. It is our oldest companion, carrying us through every joy and every sorrow. When we listen to it, we begin to understand what our anxiety is trying to tell us. Sometimes it is not asking for an answer. It is asking to be felt, to be met with gentle awareness and nothing more. When anxiety visits, the mind begins to tell stories. It builds small worlds out of memories, worries, and imagination. What if this happens? What if I fail? What if something goes wrong? These stories feel real, because they are made of our deepest hopes and fears. Yet most of them exist only in the mind. The mind is a storyteller that never sleeps. It tries to make sense of everything, to explain, predict, and control. But sometimes its stories become too loud, too full of what-ifs. We start to believe every word it says. Our body reacts, our breath changes, and suddenly a thought becomes an entire reality. The story grows stronger than the truth of the present moment. These stories are not wrong. They are a part of how we try to stay safe, but they are only stories, not the whole of who we are. When we can see them as stories, not facts, something shifts. We no longer have to fight them or obey them. We can simply listen, as we would listen to a child who is scared. We can say, "I hear you," and let the story rest for a while. Each time we notice the story instead of being caught in it, we return to a quieter place inside. It is not about silencing the mind, but about understanding it. The stories will continue, but we do not have to live inside every one of them. We can choose to stand in the open air, where thought and reality meet gently, just as waves touch the shore and then fall back into the sea. There is a quiet moment between one thought and the next, a small space that often goes unnoticed. In that space, awareness lives. It is not dramatic or bright. It does not shout or demand attention. It simply waits, like the still air before dawn. When anxiety begins to rise, this awareness is still there, untouched by the storm. Awareness is not something we must create. It is already present, behind all the noise of the mind. It notices the heartbeat, the breath, the movement of worry, and the stories that follow. It does not take sides. It does not say, "This is good," or "This is bad." It just sees. And in that simple seeing, a small opening appears, an opening where peace can begin to enter. When we are caught in anxiety, we often feel as if we have no choice. The thoughts seem stronger than we are. But even in those moments, awareness is quietly watching. The instant we notice what is happening, the moment we say to ourselves, this is anxiety, something changes. We are no longer completely inside the storm. We are also the one who sees it. This moment of awareness does not remove fear or worry at once, but it softens their hold. It reminds us that we are larger than our thoughts, larger than our emotions. Within us, there is a place that remains still, no matter how strong the waves may be. When we remember that place, even for a few seconds, a gentle calm begins to return, like the first light touching the edge of night. When we stop running from our anxiety, something begins to change. The fear we once tried to push away becomes softer, less demanding. Acceptance does not mean we enjoy what is painful. It means we allow things to be as they are, at least for this moment. It is like opening a window to let fresh air in, even if the air is cold. Many of us believe that peace will come only after we fix our problems, but sometimes peace begins when we stop trying to fix everything, when we stop saying, "This should not be happening," and instead whisper, "This is what is here right now." In that moment, the struggle eases a little. The heart no longer needs to fight against reality. Acceptance is gentle, not passive. It is an act of courage, the courage to look directly at what we feel without turning away. When we accept our anxiety, we give it room to breathe. We see it not as a monster, but as a message from a tired part of ourselves. That part is asking for kindness, not control. With acceptance, the world becomes a little wider. The walls built by fear begin to fade. The same situations may still come, but we meet them with a different heart, one that is softer, steadier, and less afraid. And sometimes, that simple openness brings more relief than any effort to resist. It reminds us that we do not have to win against life. We only have to meet it, as it is. Much of our anxiety comes from a deep wish to be in control. We want life to move in the direction we expect. We want others to behave as we hope. We want the future to unfold according to our plans. When it does not, we feel shaken, as if the ground beneath us has suddenly shifted. Yet if we look closely, we see that life has never truly been under our control. We can guide our actions, but not the results. We can speak kindly, but we cannot decide how others will respond. We can plan carefully, but the world may still change without warning. The idea of control gives us comfort, but it is only a fragile comfort, one that disappears the moment reality moves differently from our hopes. This does not mean we should give up or stop caring. It means we can move through life with a lighter touch. When we stop clinging to control, we begin to notice the flow of things. We see that events come and go, not always as we wish, but often with their own quiet wisdom. Sometimes what we call loss later becomes a new beginning we could not have imagined. The mind fears uncertainty, but the heart can live with it. When we release our grip, even a little, we feel space opening inside. The waves still move, but we no longer fight them. We float, we breathe, and we realize that peace is not found in control. It is found in trust, in allowing life to unfold as it will. Beneath the noise of our thoughts, there is a quiet space. It does not shout or demand to be found. It is simply there, calm, patient, and unbroken. Even when we are filled with worry, this quiet space remains untouched. It is like the deep ocean beneath the waves, steady and still, no matter how strong the surface currents may be. Most of us spend our days on the surface, moving from one thought to another, one task to the next. We rarely pause long enough to notice the silence that lives within us. Yet that silence is always here. It is not something we must create. It is what we return to when the noise fades. Sometimes it appears in a soft breath, a gentle pause, or a moment when we look at the sky and forget ourselves for a heartbeat. When anxiety takes hold, we may feel that silence has disappeared, but it has not. It only waits behind the noise. Like the moon hidden by clouds, it shines just the same, even when we cannot see it. The moment we stop chasing thoughts, even for a few seconds, we begin to sense that stillness again. It does not remove our pain, but it holds it, the way the earth holds the rain. To remember this quiet space is to remember who we are beyond fear and worry. It is not an escape from life, but a return to it. In this stillness, we realize that we do not need to be perfect, or calm, or strong. We only need to be present, as we are, and the quiet within will meet us there. Life has always been uncertain, though we often try to forget it. We plan our days, build our homes, and make promises for the future. Yet beneath all of this lies a truth we cannot escape. We do not know what tomorrow will bring. This uncertainty can feel frightening, as if we are walking through mist with no clear path ahead. But it can also be the place where wisdom begins. Uncertainty reminds us that control is limited, and that life is not a puzzle to be solved, but a mystery to be lived. When we stop fighting against the unknown, we begin to see its quiet gifts. It teaches us to stay close to what truly matters: kindness, patience, presence. These are the things that do not change, even when everything else does. We often believe that certainty will make us feel safe, but complete certainty is an illusion. It closes the heart. Uncertainty, on the other hand, keeps us awake. It makes us humble. It opens a small door to wonder. When we do not know what comes next, every moment becomes new again. Every breath, every sunrise, every meeting with another person. Living with uncertainty does not mean giving up hope. It means trusting that life continues to move, even when we cannot see where it leads. We may stumble, we may fall, but each step is part of a larger journey that we cannot fully understand. And perhaps that is the beauty of it, that in not knowing, we are free to discover again and again what it means to be alive. The mind often moves fast, searching for answers, measuring right and wrong, trying to solve the puzzles of life. But the heart speaks in a different language, slower, quieter, and closer to truth. It does not rush to conclusions, it simply feels. When we begin to listen to that quiet voice, we find a wisdom that does not come from logic, but from life itself. The heart has its own way of knowing. It can sense when something is genuine or false, when a path feels heavy or light. Sometimes we ignore it, thinking that reason should guide everything. Yet many of the most important choices in our lives, love, forgiveness, kindness, arise not from reason, but from this deeper sense within us. The heart does not need proof, it knows by being open. When anxiety fills the mind, the heart's voice is often drowned out. It becomes hard to hear beneath the noise of fear and doubt. But the heart never disappears. It waits patiently, like a candle burning quietly in a dark room. When we grow tired of the noise and finally pause, we begin to notice its gentle warmth again. The wisdom of the heart is not about avoiding pain or chasing joy. It is about staying true to what is real in each moment, even when it is uncertain, even when it hurts. The heart knows how to hold both pain and peace at the same time. When we trust that, we begin to live more honestly, more softly, and in that softness, life itself becomes our teacher, showing us that wisdom is not something to find, but something to remember. Peace is often imagined as something distant, a quiet mountain, a temple garden, or a long retreat far away from the noise of life. But true peace can be found in the middle of our ordinary days. It is there when we wash the dishes, when we walk down the street, when we share a few words with someone we love. The world does not have to be silent for peace to exist. It only asks that we be present for what is already here. When we live with anxiety, ordinary moments can feel heavy or meaningless. The mind says, "This is not enough. I need something more." Yet the simple acts of daily life are where calm often hides. The warmth of sunlight through a window, the rhythm of footsteps on the ground, the sound of rain touching the roof. Each of these moments can remind us that peace is not somewhere else. It is right here, waiting to be noticed. Peace grows quietly, like a seed planted in familiar soil. It doesn't demand perfection. It doesn't require us to escape our struggles. It grows whenever we give our full attention to this moment, however small or imperfect it may be. Even when the mind is restless, even when worry lingers, a single breath of awareness can open a doorway to calm. We do not have to chase peace. We only need to allow it. When we begin to see the sacred in the ordinary, a cup of tea, a gentle voice, the fading light of evening, peace finds us. It becomes a part of our everyday living, soft and real, like the heartbeat that carries us through all things. There comes a time when the mind, after so much effort and resistance, begins to soften. It is not something we can force. It happens naturally, like ice melting under the first touch of spring. The thoughts that once seemed so heavy start to lose their sharpness. The worries that circled endlessly begin to slow down. In this softening, we discover a tenderness that has been here all along. When the mind softens, it is not weak. It becomes gentle, open, and alive. It no longer needs to defend itself against every uncertainty. It allows space for kindness, toward ourselves, toward others, and even toward the moments that once frightened us. A soft mind can listen deeply. It can see clearly without judgment. It can rest, even in the middle of life's noise. This softening often begins when we stop demanding that everything makes sense. We realize that we do not have to hold every answer, and we do not have to fix every feeling. The mind loosens its grip, and the heart begins to breathe again. The world looks a little different, not because it has changed, but because we have. When the mind softens, life feels lighter. We move through it with less fear, less hurry. We begin to meet things as they are, without resistance. And in that meeting, peace quietly returns. It is not the peace of escape, but the peace of being at home within ourselves, calm, steady, and real. There is a moment when we realize that every breath is a beginning. It arrives, stays for a short while, and then leaves, just like every thought, every feeling, every experience. When we notice this gentle rhythm, something inside us changes. We see that life, too, moves in the same way. It does not ask to be controlled. It only asks to be allowed. Anxiety often makes our breath small and quick. We hold it without noticing, as if holding the breath could somehow hold back what we fear. But when we allow the breath to move freely again, the body begins to trust the world once more. The shoulders drop, the heart softens, and we remember that we are part of something larger, a rhythm that connects us to all living things. Each breath carries wisdom. The in-breath reminds us that we are alive, that life continues to offer itself to us. The out-breath teaches us how to let go, how to release what we no longer need. Together, they form a quiet conversation between the body and the world. In this simple exchange, peace begins to grow, not as a thought, but as a feeling that fills the whole being. To breathe with awareness is to live with trust. We do not have to force calmness or chase serenity. We simply return, again and again, to the breath that is always here. Each breath is a homecoming, gentle, forgiving, new. And when we live this way, even in moments of uncertainty, we discover that peace is never far away. It lives in the same place as the breath, right here, right now. As we come to the end of these reflections, I hope you have felt a little space open within you, a space where the noise of worry grows softer and the gentle truth of life becomes clearer. Anxiety may not disappear completely, but it no longer needs to rule the heart. We begin to see it as part of our shared human journey, a sign that we care, that we feel deeply, that we are alive. Life will continue to change. There will be calm days and stormy ones, yet within all of it, there is a stillness that never leaves us. It is not far away, and it does not belong to any special moment. It is right here, wherever we are, quietly waiting to be noticed. Each breath, each step, each small act of kindness leads us back to that stillness, again and again. If these words have touched something in you, please know that your presence here matters. Your time, your listening, your quiet attention, they are all gifts. I am deeply grateful to everyone who supports this channel, whether through kind comments, thoughtful messages, or simple moments of connection. To those who have offered a like, a subscription, a super thanks, or chosen to become a member, please receive my sincere appreciation. Your support helps these teachings continue to reach those who may need them. May your days be gentle. May your heart remain open. And may you always find peace in the simple truth of being here, just as you are.